Hello. It's me for you. Happy New Year, everyone. So today I'm going to do a study abroad Q&A and answer some of the questions. インスタでいくつか留学に関する質問を募集したので、それについて答えていこうと思います。If you're thinking about studying abroad now, I hope this video helps you. ちょっと質問にいくつか見ながら答えていこうと思います。Alright, so let's get into the first question. 海外留学って何歳からでもできると思いますか？How old was the oldest student in your cohort at King's? Yes, absolutely. Anyone can study abroad at any age. Basically, there's no age limit when it comes to studying abroad. What really matters is not your age, it's your vision, your purpose. No one really cares about your age. I talked about this in more details in my previous video with Jay, so I love you to watch this as well. Because I went to business school, so my course required some work experience, at least 2 years. So there were a lot of people in the 30s, and Jay even mentioned that there was someone in their 60s who had already retired. So people don't ask your age if you study abroad. No one really cared. Also, I was seen as young, to be honest, but that was not a good thing because in that environment, young often means inexperience. Everyone else had significant professional experience. Some people was taking over their parents' business, the big business, or others already started their own business. So during discussions or presentations, I sometimes struggled. I felt frustrated. You can watch my previous videos in London. I couldn't express myself the way I wanted to, so I cried a lot. And because of that, I probably looked even younger. That's when I realized it's not about your age, it's about experience. So, what you have done, what you have learned. So, if you're worried about being too old or too young to study abroad, you don't have to think that way. In Japan, people often ask your age. I don't like the culture actually. Age is not important, age is just a number, but they really care about their age, you know? They always say like arasa or ara for or something like that. I don't understand the kind of culture. Anyway, yeah, your experience matters more, so you don't have to think about your age. 辛かったことをどうやって乗り越えたのか知りたいです。孤独感とか。これに関しては、もう乗り越えられてません。もう乗り越えられてませんね。ずっと泣いてましたね。前の動画見てもらえばわかるかと思います。ディスカッションとか全然ついていけないし、毎日課題多いし、雨だし、なんかもう楽しみないし、みたいな。本当に辛いことが多くて、辛いことの方が多かった。もはやあれはどうやって乗り越えられるのか、みんな教えてください。I couldn't keep up with discussions in class, and that was really hard for me. I was so emotionally sensitive at the time. I teared up in front of my friends and my families. Yeah, even though I was filming videos. なんかもう泣きそうになってる動画がいっぱいあります。でも真面目な話をすると、after graduating, I realized I became really tough. Before I went to grad school, I used to get hurt by comments saying, oh, whose money are you using to study abroad? Oh, did you get plastic surgery? Or these comments made me really, really sad. But now, I honestly don't care at all. Not at all じゃないけど、そんなに気にしなくなったかな。Maybe because I study abroad with my own effort and I actually graduated. That experience gave me a kind of confidence and I was supported by so many people back then. During that time, I really survived thanks to these people. I still don't know the exact method, exact way to overcome loneliness, but I was supported by my friends, especially my friends, and I'm so grateful for that. So having a good friends is really important when you study abroad. For the first few months, I try not to stick with Japanese people, especially for language reasons. Because if you during studying abroad, if you spend time with the Japanese, you don't have a chance to use English, right? And then you tend to speak Japanese. So I try not to stick with Japanese people. But at the same time, there was a Japanese couple living in the same flat as me. They were about my parents' age. We became so close. So the first day, they talked to me and, oh, are you Japanese? And I was like, yes. And the one morning they texted me saying, oh, I bought some Korean food last night, so I left it outside your door. Have it for breakfast. And that moment gave me so much comfort. So made me so it was so heartwarming. Now they feel like my London mom and dad. I still think it's really important not to rely on only Japanese people, but for me, meeting them was incredibly meaningful. So they taught me how to live in the UK as a Japanese. So they gave me so many tips, so many advice. I'm truly grateful for that. So it's important to have a balance, have a strike balance. Next question. どうやって友達を作りましたか? Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing is joining social events, even you feel tired. If there's a drinking party, a get together, birthday party, drinking party at the pub, I think it's really important to join that kind of events, even if you feel tired. I'm actually very shy and I'm so indoor person. 見えないでしょ? I'm very I. My MBTI is IFJ. I wish I had been a bit more active. So I regret a little, to be honest. I also think living in a student accommodation makes a huge difference. Because if you live in a student accommodation, you get to know your flatmates, and there are usually lots of events organized by the host. So that makes it much easier to make friends. On the other hand, in my case, during my first semester, I was living in a private, like normal flat instead of student accommodation. I didn't really have those opportunities. So I couldn't make friends and I didn't have any flatmates. So if you could do it again, I would definitely choose student accommodation. People think studying abroad sounds so cool or sounds fun, but honestly, it's not all flowers and rainbows. 本当に。全然キラキラじゃない。So at the beginning, I got exhausted every single day. So after classes, I often just went straight home. But looking back, I regret it a little. So when it comes to the Japanese community in London, if you become friends with Japanese expats, you can get connected to a wider Japanese network. That really helped me expand my circle. And honestly, the information you get from the Japanese community is very useful. 日本人とつるまない方がいいんだけど、でもやっぱりなんか日本人から得られる有益な情報っていうのはある。やっぱりある。すごい助かったなっていうことたくさんあるし、お得なことだってたくさんあるから、やっぱりつながっておくとすごく私は良かったなって思います。So they help me so much, especially with practical things about living in London as a Japanese. 次です。ディスカッションに積極的に参加できるように大学院留学前にできる準備があればありますか? One thing I really wanted to say is that you don't need perfect English. What you need is ideas, your opinions, and confidence expressing your ideas. These kind of things are really super important rather than your grammatical things. For example, get used to the topics while you're really interested in. So before going to grad school, it really helps to read articles, follow recent news, watch YouTube videos related to the field you're going to study. Because there's so many discussions every single day. So one thing I actually recommend is discussing topics with these kind of topics with ChatGPT. For example, pick an article or recent news you are interested in or you're going to study and summarize it in your own words and then discuss it with ChatGPT. I didn't do this, but looking back, I should have done that more. That way, you can practice starting your opinion, in agreeing or disagreeing, and giving reasons, and then you can get some feedback from ChatGPT. This is very similar to what happens in seminars. I think this practice will be really helpful. そうそう、これ実用的だと思います。Next question. パーソナルステートメントの添削はエージェントの方以外にもしてもらいましたか？ No, I only asked my agent. I worked with an agent called SIUK かな SIUK ちょっと名前変わってるかも Study in になったかな And because I was applying to Russell Group universities, the competition was really high, so they really helped me polish and refine it. Their support was really helpful. もう何回も添削してくれましたね。But I also think it's a good idea to show your personal statement to people around you or graduate from the same university or your families or friends or senpai because getting a different perspectives can be really valuable because personal statement is the most important when it comes to documents. 次、奨学金は応募しませんでしたか？No, I didn't. I mean, I couldn't. I couldn't apply for any scholarships. I wish I had. The main reasons why I couldn't apply was that simply because the deadlines of scholarship were much earlier than expected. You have to be really, really careful. I was focusing on only my application, my personal statement and documents, an IELTS test, everything. So by the time I look into the scholarships, I realized, oh my gosh, the deadlines had already passed. Looking back, I should have checked earlier. So be very careful, everyone. Okay. 翔くんとかね、もらってたんじゃないかな？うん、多分。ほんとね、もらうに越したことはない。うん。Next question. 留学中、テスト前は1日、留学中、テスト前は1日何時間勉強していましたか？ In my course, I didn't really have written exams. Most of our assignments were discussions and essays and group presentations. So we didn't have test period. So when an essay deadline was approaching, I spent the entire day I mean, a few hours studying at the library, at home, or different co-working spaces at a friend's house. Yeah, I was basically working on my essay during the day. That was hard, but everyone was working on the same essay. So yeah, we helped each other, which was a good memory. Okay, ウェールズに行ったことありますか？No. I have never been to Wales. I wish I could. I didn't have a chance to explore other cities in the UK while I was studying in London. I was very hectic. I had so many things to do because I came to London to study. So I had so many assignments and work. I didn't have much time to travel. So maybe this year, if I had a chance, I would love to go there. 可愛すぎるので恋愛事情も知りたいです。That's so sweet. 確かに、あんまり恋愛事情は確かにそんな話したことなかったんですけど、確かに I haven't talked about my relationships in my videos. One thing I really wanted to say is that heartbreak is not meaningless. Heartbreak happens for a reason. When I was 26, I experienced a horrible heartbreak, really bad breakup. And honestly, I was crying every single day. No matter what I did, everything reminded me of my boyfriend. Everything. Like while I was eating breakfast, listen to the podcast, listen to the songs, everything reminded me of my boyfriend. So I ran away because I wanted to forget about my boyfriend. Really wanted to forget about everything. I ran away to the UK. So I remember when I tried to buy the flight ticket to the UK, that was so expensive. But I remember thinking, I'll figure out the money later. And that was my first time to go to the UK when I was 26. Some people already got married. Some people have their families. But me, I ran away to the UK. In the UK, I didn't even buy the SIM card because I wanted to shut off like everything. I wanted to do the digital detox. I could start work in the evening after 4 p.m. So I didn't need to be online all the time. That actually really helped. Every day I walked around with my host family and my friends. We explored so many places. We walked a lot, like every day, just walking and talking and finding the new things. And looking back, it was such a special time, special memory to me. And my host family, he was in 70s. He was so wonderful. I realized something about British culture. In the UK, work is not everything. They really value the work-life balance. They really value their private life rather than work. Age and job titles don't seem like to matter that much. People gather at home and eat together, invite friends over just because. So I met so many British people through that experience. I feel like it changed the way I see the world. So I think I was able to broaden my perspective. So yeah. And I was staying in the countryside near London. I was able to go to London. And one day, when I went to London, I happened to pass King's College London. It was winter, and there was a big ice skate rink right next to the building. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, what is this place? It looks so cool. 3 years later, I studied at King's and I graduated from King's, so the dreams came true. So what I wanted to say is that I feel like heartbreak is not meaningless. It's one of those moments that really helps you grow. And actually, it gave me a chance to study abroad. So I really appreciate that sounds a bit weird, but I'm so grateful for the heartbreak. って感じかな? So at the time, everyone around me was finding someone to marry and getting married or having children or making a lot of money. And I didn't do any of that. I ran away to the UK. But that was my life. That was my choice. That was my life. There's no need to rush if you're in late 20s and feeling stressed about where you are in life. You really don't need to panic. Everyone's timeline is different. So yeah, that's my advice. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much for asking some questions. And yeah, 最後まで見ていただきありがとうございました。こんな感じでゆるくね、英語で自分の勉強も兼ねて英語で話していこうと思うので、温かい目で見守ってくれたら嬉しいです。Okay, so thank you so much for today. And I see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.